Hi, friends. Have you ever received a promise from God and then had to wait for it? Well, God has a plan for that waiting season, and it's not to frustrate you, but to give you revelation from His heart. In this series, I'm sharing some of the revelation God has given me in my waiting season. Today's word is a revelation of God's gift. In Luke 1:45, it says, "You are blessed because you believed that the Lord would do what He said." The New King James of that verse says, "Blessed is she who believed, for there will be a fulfillment of those things which were told her from the Lord." In John 4:10, Jesus is talking to somebody and he tells her, "If you only knew the gift God has for you and who you are speaking to, you would ask me and I would give you living water." These verses made me ask the question, what have I done? What has anybody done to deserve God's blessing? And the short answer is nothing. It's a gift. Even my belief or my faith is a gift from God. His grace to keep believing is a gift. The waiting season is even a gift from God. The process, the journey, the fulfillment are all gifts, not burdens, not punishment, not even a test, although there are tests in the waiting period. The waiting period produces desperation that is meant to place a demand on the promise, to be adamant in requesting, seeking, and even requiring from the Lord. Desperate faith insists on God doing what He said He would do. This kind of desperation and insistence cannot be achieved in short waiting periods, only long ones. And that's a gift. Why? Because faith pleases God. And the kind of faith that can stay on task pleases God. When we believe and keep believing, there will be a fulfillment of the things the Lord told us. The word fulfillment means performance, perfection, completing, consummation, and even that which verifies the promise and absolution. It's not we who do the fulfilling, we do the believing, and God does the fulfilling. During the fulfillment process, otherwise known as the waiting season, remember I said there are tests. Sometimes God has us face the same giants, otherwise known as tests or trials or troubles, so that you know you can trust Him to do it again. He's not a one off God. At times, He will defeat an enemy and you'll never see it again. The point is to trust Him always in all things, every time. Going back to the definition of fulfillment, the words performance and completing make me think of work. God is doing His work, but we have to keep doing the work of believing. In the meantime, we also go about doing our normal work in life. This is not a bad thing, it's actually a gift also. There's something that every person on earth has an equal amount of, no matter who they are, and it's impossible to get more or less of it in a day. And that is time. Even though everyone has the same amount of time, the secular world would say that some people's time is more valuable or worth more than other people's time. This is proven in the wildly varied wages that are paid to different persons. Education and status and level of wealth all affect how valuable someone's time is said to be. A person with one particular job will make more or less than another, generally speaking, depending on what that job is. However, in the kingdom of God, the value of a person's time is not based on education, status, wealth, or job title. It's based on how one does a job, whatever job. If a job is being done under God's direction to the best of one's current ability and as unto the Lord rather than people, the housekeeper receives the same value or reward as the doctor. The mechanic is the same as the pastor, etc. God gave each person different gifts for doing certain things well, and we use our time to accomplish those. All work is ordained by God as holy. So once you do your work well, you have the highest value in the kingdom. The work you do in your waiting time is not wasted time. It's preparing you for things in the future that you may have no idea that you'll need. When my children didn't want to do a certain type of schoolwork, they would complain, when am I ever going to need this? I would always tell them, you never know what you're going to need to know in life. Some time ago, my son had to deal with a situation which he learned how to handle in school. At the end, I said, that was one of the things I made you learn that you when you would ever use. God has us learning all sorts of consider it a good gift and embrace it. Well, that's all for today. For further study, I put some scriptures for you in the description of this video, so make sure you check those out. Until next time, I'll be praying for you to receive revelation from God. Have a blessed week.